Hi guys. Okay, I want to use up some scraps on my desk. So I'm going to make some tag bases. Actually, maybe we'll decorate them. We'll see. Grandkids are due back from school soon, so they may come in and attack. Okay, what is this? This is stupid strips of the edges of some art magazines that ages ago I cut pictures out of, because the art magazines have really nice pictures. So you can see on the back, there's text and pictures and stuff like that. But the art magazine, it was semi-gloss and there was just so much white space. Now, I've got a bag of strips, but previously I did have, bigger pieces that I've already used up. I've just been plodding along for a couple of years using this up. Probably 2 years ago I cut up these art magazines. Anyway, I'd like to use some of these. And since I was thinking of making tall, skinny tags, these are probably perfect for that. Now, I'm only going to make one tag base on camera, and then I'll go make a whole bunch, because you don't want to see me sit here gluing for an hour. Because when I make tags, I make a whole big bunch of them at once. See, I want to use up the rest of this text block. So I'm going to just use these book pages. These were some Reader's Digest books that I pulled apart to make journals ages ago. Actually, they were those wallpaper journals which I made probably a year ago, and I never did film them all. Sorry, I think I filmed 2 or 3, and I never got around to filming them. Actually, I don't even know if I put them in my Etsy. Anyway, I'll do a flip through of those again later at some stage and get them in my Etsy shop. Okay, so I will go through and just make, a whole bunch of tag bases like this. Actually, I don't need to glue them so much, do I? Because I'm going to sew these. Okay. Then I'm going to chuck this aside for now. I'll make 1 or 2 and then I'll make a bunch off camera. Okay. Now I also, me with scraps, I can't throw them away. Anyway, this tray is just full of blank scraps, coffee dyed paper scraps, bits of end pages or flyleaf pages, whatever they're called. End of chapter pages. Sometimes there's a blank page, there's some thin blank pages from accounting books. Anyway, just all little blank scraps, coffee dyed scraps, you name it. And I use it just for backing tags. And when you make journals and you use something like brown paper bags, you want to cover up a logo or something. Okay, I've also got these strips. I'll use these. So hopefully I'll get rid of lots of scraps today. I always start off a project like this thinking, I'm going to get rid of that whole bag or that whole book or that whole tray of scraps. And then by the end of it, I've got a big pile of tags or something, but I've not used many. That's always the way. Okay. So I'm not going to be fussy or anything. I'm just going to glue it down. I don't care if it goes right to the end or not, or the top. Okay, I'll just do one because you'll get the idea. Then I have to find something to embellish them with. Okay, see, this is an easy way to use up some scraps. Just glue them down. And I always feel like I've never got enough tags, so I really want to make a whole bunch of them. Whoops. Scissors. That one I made a bit too long. Okay, one more little scrapper. That'll do. Now I'm going to, I don't have many coffee dyed strips left, but I'm going to use whatever blank scraps in that tray. It doesn't have to be strips. Oh gosh, how much glue did I put on this? Oh no, I know, it's because it's the edge of the book. Okay, I need to make sure I scrape the glue off the edge, you know, before I glue them. So now I've got gluey hands. Yeah, the edge of the page, because I pulled it out of a book, has a bit of glue, so just rip that off before you glue. It's a bit bumpy now. That's okay, we'll live with that. Okay, I'm going to make a whole bunch just covering the text. So on one side, I'm not going to do the other side, and then I'll be straight back. Okay, so I'm back and I've made a whole bunch. I didn't quite use up the rest of that book. I've got a little bit left, which I'll do in front of the TV tonight. And did I use up the bag? No. I hardly used any of this stupid bag. So back into the scrap paper tray it goes for another project. Okay, so you can see I've used bits of brown paper bag, lined paper. I've tried to use one of those strips or a piece out of that bag with the magazine, you know, pieces. Oh, this one I use yellow because it was in that tray, but I don't quite like it. I'll cover that up with some coffee dyed paper. See, some of the magazine bits that I cut off, it was quite big. So that art magazine, I don't know why, it was really big, but it might have like a little picture of a painting at the top and a little blurb under it, and then this whole big white space. And I think that's why I originally started keeping it, because, you know, you might have this much of blank white paper. So I didn't want to put that in the bin. But then, of course, as I cut, you know, I keep smaller and smaller pieces and then strips. And anyway, so I won't show you all of these, but you get the idea. Look, even little itty bitty bits I've used. I've tried to mostly use up all the strips in that tray, but kind of impossible. This one was big enough to cover the whole thing. Anyway, you get the idea. Okay, so I've got a whole big bunch. Now I just need to put something on the other side. So this, when I put it in journal, this is the writing spot of the tag. Okay, now I think I'm just going to embellish these super easy. Okay. Oh, okay. I think I know what I'm going to do. Sorry, I don't plan ahead like I should. Oh, okay. Yes, I know. All right, I've got some papers here. I'm trying, okay, since I had a year off, my desk is out of control, crap everywhere, piles everywhere, and for the rest of this year, seriously, I'm just going to craft with crap off my desk. That's it. And I could probably craft for 10 years. My desk is really long. It runs, I'm in a garage, my craft room is in the garage. If you're new to my channel, it's a double garage, and my desk runs the length of the garage. So I've got a lot of space. And in the center, there's kind of some divider drawers that jut out. So it kind of forms two workstations, because my husband used to work down the end of, work from home down the end of one desk. So he's not working in my craft room anymore. So I've got the whole desk to myself again. And of course, I filled it straight away. So it's a long desk. So you can imagine how much crap. I just always work on a project and then toss the rest of the stuff aside instead of putting it away. And I've got like 1,000 half-finished projects going on at one time. Anyway, so I'm just going to craft off my desk for the most part this year. I mean, I may have to pull out a little something from somewhere, but mostly it's off my desk. Okay, what are these? These are coffee dyed papers, and they look like, I don't know, some sort of engineering, chemistry or something. Some index pages. Oh, these are from forever ago. I don't know, it looks like also there's some computer programming pages in there. I don't know, I just coffee dye everything. So I'm going to try and use some of these. And okay, I'll show you in a minute. I'm laughing because I'm thinking ahead of what I'm going to decorate these with, and I know what I'm going to put on them, and it's it's ridiculous. Okay, I'll show you in a second. Oh my gosh. It's actually, sometimes it's embarrassing showing you my my mental issues with recycling. Okay. Oh, can I? All right. I'm not going to cover the whole back of this. I don't care if it's text. But I do want to cut half up just to kind of, I do want to cover half up, sorry. Just to kind of, I don't know, break up all that text. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's the plan. All right. See, look, I've ended up with another piece of blank scrap. In it goes. Okay. You use one scrap and you create 50 others. How much of this do I want to cover up? I don't know. Half-ish. Maybe a little tidbit. Let's do a couple. Yes, I know. I need to buy a proper ruler. I've got an itty-bitty ruler and a really long metal ruler. And it's, I don't have a regular, like, 30-centimeter ruler. Okay. Yes, okay. That's what I'm doing. Don't want that one. That one's too... Now you can see that I am not gluing on book pages for once, you know, because I glue on book pages and then I fold them in half and toss them aside so that I can make journal cards and pockets. But my shelf where I put those glue drop pages is overflowing. And so I decided to use some crappy old cooking magazines. Oh, that's kind of a nice picture. No, don't look. Okay, I'll do one. I'm going to embellish one and then I'll go ahead and do some off camera because, yeah, I just don't want to sit here making you watch me glue all the time. Okay, so I've covered that up just to break up a bit of the text. Now, what I'm going to embellish these with is I have here, you know, I don't buy craft supplies, okay? So I don't have little embellishments to put stuff on. All my decorating is just crap that I collect in day-to-day life. I do buy a few things like, you know, tools. Like this is a punch that I purchased a few months ago. Ink, glue, and paint. That's it. Everything else is just collected from here, there, and everywhere. So, when you do recycle only crafting, you tend to collect everything and some stupid things. Now, my husband's always, and my daughter-in-law and my son, ordering stuff online, and, you know, everything comes in boxes. So, I keep interesting things like, look at this. I think it's Chinese writing. This? I know, it's, look, I'm sure a lot of you do this as well. Like any little label like that, I don't know, I find interesting. Barcodes. There's some more Chinese. More barcodes. Sometimes it's just text. Look at these. Look how cool this is. I have no idea what it says. I'm sure it says something like fragile. But how cool are these? Like, I love them. Anyway. There's some green ones. Now, I used to be really good and I would... See, just numbers. I don't know. This is an illness, I'm sure. Oh, look at this one. Okay, how cool is that? I love this one. Anyway, I used to, oh, pink one. I used to be really good and I would peel the top of the box as I got rid of the box into the recycle bin. But then I, somewhere along the line, got lazy. And I just started keeping the whole cardboard. So now I have to peel them off. Okay, so, oh look, see, this is really interesting. These, see, I'm kind of organised. These look like all the coloured pieces. Oh no, there was some coloured in there. But anyway, I'm going to pull out some that are just red. My sewing machine has red thread in it at the moment. Because I was working on a journal with some, well, it's got a lot of red in it. So I think I'm going to, actually some of these tags will end up in that journal. So I think I'm going to make red tags just because I don't want to change the red thread out of my machine. So let's pull out some of this crap. Look! This one's stupid. Why did I keep that? I like it though. Look at this, fragile. Okay, how many do I need? Gross weight. See the priority mail? Oh, these are cool. I love stuff like this. Oh, look at this. Actually, a piece of this I used on the cover of that red journal. We'll use some of that. We'll use that. Now, I will probably sit one night in front of the TV and tear all of these bits off the tops. So I can, I like, it just takes up too much room. And as you can see, I've got 2 bags of that rubbish. So, let's see. I saw some interesting ones at the front. Like this. That's really cool. Okay. Where's my tag? Let me just move that aside a tick. So yeah, I will sit in front of the TV one day and just peel all these off the cardboard, just because it makes storage easier. And I'm just going to decorate my tags with peeled box pieces. Maybe we'll pop some fabric up the top. Okay, can I live with that glue on top? I think so. Okay, so this piece, now I do like using this corrugated cardboard in journals as well, but this is something you have so much of that, you know, it's not something you need to keep. Well, I don't need to keep it because I come across it all the time. Okay. Do I want that black line around it? Actually, maybe we'll get rid of that bit. I want to keep the little circles. I think they look cute. Okay, into the recycle bin. And look, that is just going to be my tag. I'm going to just pop that there. I think I'll tear that bottom bit off. Okay. Actually, maybe I'll use a bit of stronger glue because some of these they're quite thick. I don't know if glue stick will hold it down. Excuse my grotty fingernails. I've been chopping branches in the backyard. Okay. Now, I did see someone on Facebook the other day in one of the junk journal groups saying that she wanted to start an Etsy shop, but she doesn't have enough stuff to make journals. She wants to make journals to sell. And, you know, my advice is just start. Just, you don't need anything. Just, if you get some glue, and maybe some ink if, you know, you want to ink the edges of stuff. Glue, ink, and that's it. You don't even need a sewing machine. A lot of people, you know, make journals without sewing machines. I just like to sew everything because I like the look of it. And just get started. You don't need to really buy anything. Buy glue stick, buy some, my advice, buy acetone-based glue, PVA if you mass make stuff like me. It's cheaper than acetone-based glue. And a glue stick, and go for it. All the papers, mine are all collected from everywhere. As you can see. Oh, get off. And, you know, just put the word out to your friends and family that you make journals from junk. And if they could, you know, collect interesting papers for you, or blank papers, or, you know, old broken jewelry, so that, you know, buttons, old clothes. Okay. I think I'm going to punch all of these with my new punch. I haven't used this yet. Okay. And I think I'll put some fabric. Where does the little punch bit go? Oh, okay. See, I just got that off Temu really cheap. I don't even buy a lot of tools. It's just that I've seen, I think Kirsten from Penrose had this punch. She said it's a lanyard punch, and I just really liked it. I've seen a lot of people use it over the years, and I just never had one. I had a hole punch, and I really liked the look of it. Okay, I think I'm going to pop some red fabric on top of these, and then sew it with red thread. Now, I've been missing off YouTube. Hopefully by the time you see this video, I'll have already posted a few other videos. So hopefully I will post this video soon. So I've been off almost a year. It's March now, and that's way too long. So hopefully you'll see me post this video soon. Okay, these are just scraps of red fabric from when I was making that red journal. Now I'm not going to glue this. I just want to tack it down a little. Just need a dot of glue just to hold it in place, because I will now go through and decorate all of these exactly the same. I'm going to use a bit of book page of the coffee dyed page with whatever little interesting bits, a bit of the peeled cardboard box. I'll put a little bit of red fabric up the top with a dot of glue just to hold it until I sew it. And then when I've made a whole big pile, I'm just going to do a straight stitch all the way around the edge. I'll just sew straight. I'll actually start sewing from here, so you know you don't see your little back stitch in that. I'll start from here and just go all the way around with a straight stitch in red, and then I'll come back in about 3 years to show you the finished tags. So I sat down and I peeled all the top layers off the cardboard. So this is what you end up with, just all these little random numbers and barcodes and bits and pieces, little symbols. Now, can you believe this is what those 2 bags came down to? Just this little packet, minus the ones I've used, which, you know, was what, maybe 20 pieces, but there you go. So peel it off the cardboard as you go, and it won't take up as much storage space. I used to peel them all, but yeah, when you're chopping up big giant boxes to put in the recycle bin, you don't really want to sit there peeling it at the time, but if you can, there you go. So this will go aside for other projects. Now let me show you the finished tags. Okay, I do have a few bases left. And I'll show you why. There was one tag I made that I liked the look of it, and so I thought, ooh, I'll keep some bases and do some more of those later. Okay. So I glued the little bits on. Most of them I've only used the peeled box because I think it can stand alone just with a strip of, you know, different coloured paper to your base. I've put red bits of fabric on all of them and used red thread on all of them. So most of the pieces of the peeled box, I tried to use bits with red just so it was, I don't know, matchy. Anyway, let me show you them. I really love the ones with the Chinese writing. So they're just so interesting. I think this was the one I did on camera. A bit of a glue mark there, but I can live with that, I suppose. This was one of the mailing stickers. It's so cool. I love it. I don't know what it says, but it's just a number. I think this was off a Coke bottle box. Or this one was. Just random numbers. I don't know, but I like them. This one, there was just a circle there, but there was like a glue glob or something. You know, the corrugated cardboard boxes, that they're glued with this thick kind of like glue gun kind of glue. And when you peel it off, it always rips and leaves this wet looking piece. So I just put one of the numbers in the middle just to cover that. That's the priority mail tape. I actually really like these ones. I think they're cool. I didn't worry if the tape was all wrinkled and coming up a bit. So this is the original box underneath. I left the brown paper on. And that little express post sticker was already on the tape, so I left it. The priority mail, I like those ones. That one just said 10 pack. So I didn't like the pack, so I just put a barcode sticker over it. But this one I think needs something else on there. I may stick something else on that one later. Date, contents. I don't know. Who cares what it means? I think it looks interesting. There were a couple of those. Date, contents. Oh, this was a little bit of the end of one of these, like joint at the end. And I thought, oh, I'll just use that, but because it was so small, it needed something. So I've got some stamps on my desk that my dad gave me, so I just whacked this stamp on there. And I thought it kind of goes. I like it. This one didn't have any red on it, but I thought it needed something red. So these little number stickers I've had sticking onto the edge of my shelf next to you for ages. I always stick stupid little stuff there, like sale price and price tags. Just dumb little things that I end up using on tags and embellishments and stuff. So this 1-3, I don't know what it was from, but it's been sitting there for ages, so I finally used it up. Chinese writing. This label, I love this label. Look how cool it looks. I wish that I would just find a whole roll of mailing labels like that at Reverse Garbage or something. That's that tape, which I really like. I wish it wasn't shiny though, but it's pretty. fragile. This one had a whole list of rooms. It must be, I don't know, furniture or something, like bedroom, family room, dining, and they must tick which room it goes in. Anyway, office, bedroom, family room. So there were a few of those. Quite a few. This one was so black, I thought, yeah, it needed a bit brightening up. So I've popped a little red stamp next to that one as well. I like these labels as well. I didn't worry that it had handwriting there. Big strip of numbers. And this was a tiny little piece. It's Chinese writing. I don't know if you can see from there. Another stamp. This was, actually these were on one sticker, I think, and I just cut it up. But because I think there was a yellow strip down the side that I chopped off as well. So that one I just put a little piece of a barcode there. And that one I've just left the tape as it is. And oh, this is the one I left some blanks for. This was just a bit of the cardboard box left from, you know, when I was ripping off barcodes or whatever. And I used it and I just put this stamp strip there. And I like the look of that. Just brown paper underneath with a strip of, you know, 3 stamps joined together. So I know I've got a bunch of strips of stamps like that somewhere. So I saved a few blank bases and I'll just make some more of these. They don't need to be red. I'll use whatever colour fabric depending on what colour the stamp is. So I've left those to make a few more of those. Anyway, those are my peeled box tags. And look how many I've got to pop into journals. And I think they look really interesting. Anyway, like I said, collect crap from everywhere. You don't need to buy stuff. That's it. I'll leave you with some photos at the end so you can see close up. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.